Namaste. Welcome back, beautiful souls. This is Top Tarot Miners, and today is the Three of Swords. And I've decided to do this one also a little bit differently. I'm going to read to you some of the stories that are connected to these cards. I only have 5 cards on the table today, and I'm going to start with Yoshi Yoshitani's Tarot of the Divine and the story of the Crane Wife. And I just want to share with you these beautiful pictures in the larger fairy tale book Beneath the Moon. This is one of those books that you could use for bibliomancy rather than working with the deck itself. And in this book, you don't have the tarot card associations. That might be something. I created an Excel spreadsheet and I was going to paste it in here, but I haven't done that yet. I may do that. Anyway, let's get to the story of the Crane Wife, and then I will talk. I'm going to try to weave these 5 cards together, as well as bring in a little bit of information through the Golden Dawn correspondences that might help to expand your understanding of this card. And I've chosen these 5 cards here today because of their different approaches to the Three of Swords. There once was a poor woodcutter who came across a beautiful crane caught in a hunter's trap. He felt sorry for the graceful bird, so he carefully set it free. Once released, the bird looked deeply into the man's eyes before flying away. Days later, a lovely woman appeared at his door asking for shelter. She was so charming and beautiful that the man asked her to marry him. The mysterious woman readily agreed, for she had fallen in love with the man as well. A short time later they were married, but life was not easy. The man was still poor, and now he tried to work twice as hard to feed both himself and his beautiful wife. The woman saw this and offered to make fabric to sell. She asked only that her husband never come into her room while she worked. Confused, he agreed. A few days later, his wife, looking weak and tired, presented him with the most sumptuous fabric he had ever seen. He took the work to market and sold it for a lot of money, which he was able to use to buy them many good things. From that day on, the couple lived well. The wife would retreat to her room and secretly work, emerging later looking a little more sickly, but with fabric even more beautiful than the last. The husband would take the fabric to market and sell it for ever higher prices, returning with goods and gifts that made them very wealthy. Though his life was easier, the man began to worry for his wife, who was looking even more frail. Finally, his curiosity could take no more, and one night while she was working, he cracked the door open and peered in. He discovered that his wife was a crane who had been slowly and painfully plucking her own feathers and weaving them to create the beautiful fabric. He gasped, and she turned to see that he had learned her secret. She was angry that he broke his promise and mortified that he had seen her as a crane. And so she took flight and never returned to her husband. I think with this card, through the power of story, we can talk about pain. We can talk about loss and sorrow. And with this card, sometimes it is too personal. It's too close to home to share. And so one of the reasons I have a couple of fairy tale decks in my library is so that I can use them for this purpose, especially when I know a reading is going to be really challenging. And often when I'm working with clients, I am not just doing a reading, but I pull out certain cards to help process. And it's like I create a tableau through the tarot to find our work for the day and the client's work for the next weeks and month ahead. So yeah, I think this is it's a really powerful story to illustrate pain and loss of trust, feeling violated, and all that might come with a Three of Swords experience. This is not an easy card to understand, and I think a deeper understanding of the Three of Swords comes with an examination of the Golden Dawn correspondences. It can certainly help to understand why in a Waite Smith inspired deck, even in the Crowley deck, it's a very dark card, what all of the associations are. And the planetary associations do really, really help. So this is the second decan of Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. And this justice card or adjustment or karma card, it's here for us to find a new version of harmony in our life. It's a time to process something. Like the balancing of karma is not easy work. And we must do the work ourselves. And I think this is something that many people don't do and don't realize, is that the processing of grief, the processing of childhood trauma, it's a process, and it's something we must move through and experience. It's not going to just magically go away. Now, sometimes just acknowledging it can be enough. And a Three of Swords experience, simply by recognizing, yes, this happened to me. Yes, this was my experience. Yes, this is what I moved through. That can be enough. We don't need to go to talk therapy for years and years. There are lots of different approaches to this. So when the Three of Swords appears in a reading, know that there is some processing to do. And I think this is the Red Seeds Tarot, and while this is based on a very specific journey, I love a few things about this deck in the suit of bees, right? The bees make a noise. The bees have a stinger. Bees have the power to heal. It's a really potent suit. And you can see the anguish on the figure in the card here. And you can imagine the noise of the bees and the sting of the bees. But where I want to go with this is this process, this eye of the needle that we are moving through in this card. And you could say the needle is the stinger of the bees. We must journey through this pain. If we don't, we will get sick. We will never quite be right. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus lives life, experiences life, and is not afraid to feel and to touch and to be in the energy of life. And when I think of Venus in Libra, one of the most powerful healings, I think, comes through music and sacred sound. And when I think of healing in this card, I think of maybe classical music or chanting or mantra, or that sort of sound that has the power to heal. Maybe you might even think of attending a sound healing workshop or something like that. And so sound is very powerful here, but just know that when this card appears, there's something to do. There's something we are responsible for doing. I like that in the Dust Onyx Tarot, Courtney Alexander brings up eclipse energy. And I want to read to you a little bit from her book, Vademekam. Solar eclipses are a result of the Earth passing through the moon's shadow, where the light from the sun is completely blocked. Spiritually, it is a very open and sensitive time, best used for rituals and meditation. Astrologically, it heralds a time of change and healing of deep wounds. In the eclipse, we see a reflection of ourselves in our most vulnerable state, for better or worse. The person we see before us may be our own reflection or even a window through which we see a story unfold. In this card, the Three of Swords seem to pierce the throat, affecting the person's ability to speak and possibly even causing them to bleed out. Well, let's hope it doesn't have to go that far, but there is this really interesting correspondence here with this. So let me go there because it's kind of fun. Throat, not bleeding out. That's not fun. Piercing of the throat. So piercing of the throat chakra. I was mentioning sound baths, chanting, classical music. I think all the more powerful this creative energy. Remember, threes are about creating something, right? Building something. And I think here we're also doing something. We're creating something to move through the eye of the needle, whatever that is for you in this case. And trauma in general finds its home in the sacral chakra and the root chakra. And by using the voice, by piercing the throat chakra, by singing, by chanting, by speaking our truth, we have a way to purify the sacral chakra. There is a powerful connection between the sacral chakra and the fifth throat chakra, the Vishuddhi chakra. So I just think there's something here, whether it's conscious or not, there's a powerful layer in this card. And in the Red Seeds Tarot, also bees have the power to heal fertility issues. And when I think of that, that's a very much a sacral chakra kind of thing. So, wow, amazing connection there. This is Tarot of the Hidden Realm, and the thorns are causing her fingers to bleed. And I think the message here is that we must bleed. We can't move through it unless we bleed. And whether we are talking, this could be a small loss. It could be a major loss. But the message here is that we must feel. And I think a lot of people get confused about why are we feeling in this card, in this suit of mind. And I think it has to do with these deeper layers. The Golden Dawn adepts were certainly aware of these esoteric connections, and this weaving of energy of like feelings are about another sacral chakra thing. We explore feelings in the sacral chakra. This is the element of water here, and eventually this is purified in the throat. And I don't know, it's these things are rarely discussed in little white books, even not so larger tarot books. But it's such an important process, and we don't have to make it complicated and know all of this stuff. But it is interconnected, and this is a card of healing. And threes are about processing. One of the things I've observed in threes, like threes are not the manifestation part. This is the incubation part, right? So we're in the process of healing. We're in the process of finding our truth, our voice. We're moving through this powerful air card. And the man in the Gaian Tarot who's frantically writing in his journal is also processing. Now, ultimately, for his highest healing, he would pick up that journal and read it aloud. And if not able to read it aloud to someone, might read it aloud, glancing in a mirror from time to time. This would be highly, highly healing. So think about this. Think about Three of Swords as an eye of the needle kind of experience, where we're in a really important place of moving through, and you have to fill in the blank, but sorrow, trauma, loss. And the deeper we can feel and acknowledge, the sooner we can find ourselves in the sooner we can know the healing. I think the message here is that the sting is not an option. The sting is not an option. It's part of life. One of my yoga teachers frequently reminds us that pain is not an option, but suffering is. And if we choose to process the pain, we need not suffer. The suffering comes when we don't do the processing. Okay, so left to right, these cards are Gaian Tarot, and this is Dust to Onyx. This is the Tarot of the Divine, and Tarot of the Hidden Realm, and the Red Seeds Tarot. Thank you. Thanks for following this series. Appreciate you all. Take good care. Namaste.